That time I got reincarnated as a true dragon by NautyManu. Chapter 51 The Unitarians. So how did we come to this again? Asked Sasha as eyed the team of girls and Lei who were in front of her. They were all geared up and was clearly ready for battle. How indeed, Rimuru said with calm smile still plastered on her face. After Lei greeted everyone, Amelia asked him to create his own team in the next few days as they are required to have another group test. But surprising everyone, he refused and asked whether he could join Enos's team, since for him Enos looks like the perfect guy who he could get along with. And as you guessed, he rejected him without hesitation. His reason was, "If you want to be my subordinate, you have to show me your worth." So he proposed they have a tame battle with each other. If they somehow manages to impress him, he would let them into his team. Lei agreed since it seems fun, and as for his team, they are a group girls who runs the Unitarians. They are all half-blooded people who formed a faction to oppose the nobles that are tried to half them just because they have a little of their founder's blood. And they are convinced that Enos Voldigod is their founder, as he has demonstrated it with his unparalleled strength and wisdom. When Enos first went to their headquarters, they were so happy that most of them became unconscious, and it was more apparent to Rimuru and Sasha that these girls are running this campaign in the academy with the disguise of Enos's fan club, which they totally are. But the problem with them is that even when they asked to join his team, Enos could tell that they lacked the necessary self-confidence to be in his team. So Lei challenging him is like a God-sent opportunity. He could make the Union girls join Lei's team for now, and when they battle they could gain some confidence for them to join his. And beside, even if they couldn't join now, no one said they couldn't join later. This is why now they are in the magical forest where fought earlier. Since this forest is able to regrow in a matter of hours, they could go all out. Do your best if you want to impress me. Saying so, Enos teleported his team to their base to start this test. So what's the plan? Sasha asked as they arrived at their destination. I'll handle Lei while you handle the others, Enos said. Are you sure? Enos, forget about me, as having Rimuru is already too much, Sasha said, remembering how Rimuru effortlessly killed a demon elder. What are you talking about? Rimuru wouldn't interfere with this match. Right? He turned to Rimuru to ask just in case. Chuckling, Rimuru replied, "It's unfortunate, but I can't really fight in a small battle like this. The girls would lose their courage if I am going to be their opponent, so I'll just take on a support role for now." Right, that would be helpful. Enos nodded and then turned to Misha. Misha, if you would. Misha nodded and chanted. Soon a castle-like structure began to be created at a rapid phase, and within minutes a very gigantic ice castle is finished. Wow, your creation magic seems to have gotten stronger. Is it because of the ring? Sasha asked, eyeing the ring that Enos gave Misha on her birthday day. Misha nodded and said, I can feel the cost for creation magic is halved with it. Rimuru looked at her source with her enhanced eyes, saw that Misha's source, which was quite damaged when her soul was under pressure because of fusion spell, is now healing. And what's more, she could see that her source is slowly beginning to show its true form. The same could be said for Sasha. But unlike Misha, who got her creation magic amplified, her destruction magic is being more refined. This is because their sources are slowly turning back to their original appearance, as there no need to hide from the world, as no god could harm them. This is the uniqueness of the sources that these sisters have. As one was the goddess of creation, and while the other is goddess of destruction. Each of their concepts are too powerful to be controlled by an outsider, so they chose to camouflage their original self to avoid being found. Well then, off I go. Saying so, Enos left, using. Will this plan even work? I mean, would Lei even go against Enos directly to begin with? If you ask me, the best option would be either taking me or Misha out first, Sasha asked worriedly. Don't misunderstand her, she isn't afraid of Lei, as she is sure she can buy time if she was overwhelmed. Nah, don't worry about that. Those two will just duke it out together. Well, Sasha, would you like the first attack? Rimuru asked. Okay then, I'll head over there to scout the enemy base and try to attack them if possible. Saying so, Sasha used magic to float and flew towards the enemy camp. So do we do this just like last time? Rimuru asked Misha. Misha nodded and went inside the castle with Rimuru following behind her. So you choose to take me on one-on-one, huh? Enos said as he walked towards Lei, who is sitting on top of a rock. Well, I'm more of a front-line fighter than a commander, and beside, didn't Mr. Enos say you want me to prove my worth to you? Lei replied as he got off from his seat. Anos looked at the sword that is on Lei's waist. "Oh, you are not using your magic sword?" he asked in a bit of surprise. "Well, I had to lend it towards my team since they need it more than me for today. And besides, I'm more of a traditional swordsman than a magic swordsman," Lei said as he unsheathed his blade. "Oh, are you sure now? I am not that weak, you know, or are you too confident of your skills?" Anos said, intrigued. "Haha, no, I'm not underestimating you at all. In fact, my instincts are screaming at me that you are dangerous. But you see, in this test you don't actually need to just defeat you." As his words were heard, the ground began to shake. Anos looked at the direction of the shaking and was surprised. Chapter 51 The Golem. The ground began to collapse as parts of it began to float and began to form a giant golem. Unlike normal golems, this one is formed by using the spell Gweens on the castle. Since it has the high defense of Demon King Castle, it is a walking tank. "Oh, this is quite the unique idea you guys had. But from what I see, this requires quite amount of demonic power. Care to enlighten me, Lei?" Anos asked with a smirk. He always liked it when his opponents do the unknown. "Oh, you see, I'm kinda bad at magic, so I rarely use my demonic power. So I thought, why not lend it to them?" Lei said with a smile. "Oh, you sure do have a large mana pool for the spell to run. Well, this certainly makes one of us in a disadvantage." "What to do?" he said aloud as he looked at his surrounding. Then he smiled and took a tree branch that was fallen near him. "Say, why don't we do this like this? I will fight you with this, and if you manage to defeat me, it is your win," he said as he handled the tree branch like a sword. Lei said nothing. He also took out his sword and took a stance. He knows better than anyone that to a true swordsman anything can be a sword. Like it was unanimous agreement, they both dashed at each other at the same time. Dash 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 dash. "You really have to be kidding me," Sasha said as she dodged the attacks from the golems. She was doing her scouting mission as usual when she was bombarded with attacks from a golem that appeared out of nowhere. And it seems this one has anti-magic woven into its core. And her physical attacks are not working either, as its defense is quite scary. She was struggling to think of a way until a telepathic message came from her king. "You know you are hopeless without me, right?" came the cocky voice of Anos. "Shut up, did you come here to make fun of me or do something?" "No, actually I'm here to tell you that you should soon evacuate from this area as our fight will start to get hectic. And if you really want some help, just ask Rimuru. I bet she is too bored, so she wouldn't mind helping out." "Arggk, fine. I will try to finish this fast and evacuate. And I don't need help to take this golem down." Sasha grumbled as she dodged another blow. With a wave at her hand, she cast a magic spell to blast her away from ground to the sky. And with another spell she used it to fly towards their base at high speed. Arriving at her destination, she saw that the girl golem was coming towards them at a slow pace. Since got some time to catch her breath, she asked herself how to defeat this golem, and that's when she heard another telepathic message. "You know you can always use Geo Graze to destroy them altogether, right?" Rimuru said helpfully. "But would the three of us even be enough?" she asked in doubt. "What are you saying? Just both you and enough are enough to power up that spell. Adding me would just be overkill. Did you forget that since your sources have been fused, your compatibility with each other is quite high? And for a group casting spell, compatibility matters more than the actual power. Say, why don't we just try it? Since this is a test, the worst we can get is a lower score." "Okay then, Misha, are you ready?" Affirmative. Creating magic cannon successful. Proceeding to connect with magic amplifier. Connection established, Sasha said as a magic circle appeared on top of her. Searching for target. Target locked. Initiating power up. Firing in 3.21. Geo Graze. The cannon blasted the magic attack, which is then amplified by the magic circle. The attack made contact with golem, and like it was piece of paper, the attack went through it. It then hit a nearby mountain and completely destroyed it with a huge explosion. "Oh, it seems you guys have a great understanding of the art of explosion," said Rimuru in their group link. "What the hell is that?" Sasha asked in bewilderment. "Don't bother Sasha, she sometimes says things we have no clue, and trust me, you won't know either," Anos said still while fighting Lei. "HMPH, you guys have no taste," Rimuru pouted as she said that. Misha, who was near her, said softly, "So Rimuru can also pout." Rimuru, who wasn't expecting such a response, blushed a little. So to ignore this situation, she changed the screen to see how their enemies are handling the aftermath of the attack. And well, the girls are handling it quite well actually. A little too well if you ask her. Narrowing her eyes, Rimuru looked at them suspiciously. They all are helping each other to bring as many to perfect health. Their coordination is very planned, as they expected this kind of attack. After a bit of contemplation, Rimuru finally realized what is happening. They were acting as tanks to divert our attention. Sasha, watch out! She shouted as she saw a silhouette heading towards Sasha at high speed. Sasha only managed to evade, unfortunately, after being a little injured by the enemy's sword. But she managed to avoid a fatal hit. She without hesitation cast a spell to create a smokescreen. With that as a cover, she managed to get some distance from her attacker. When the smoke subsided, there was the figure of Misa Eliorog, the president of the Unitarians, which is also now called as the Anos fan club. On her hand there lays a magic sword that has some blood stains, which is the result of wounding Sasha. Sasha looked at her with a grim expression. She needs some time to heal herself, since Misa here is a bigger threat with that magic sword. And to make matters worse, she saw the signs of another golem coming towards her direction. While it is a lot smaller than the earlier one, it is still made from the remaining materials of the last one, making it another great tank. And as she was thinking for any methods to escape this tricky situation, she got an unexpected massage from Rimuru. Sasha, can you hold them for a few minutes? Unlike her usual cheerful voice, now Rimuru's voice is serious and authoritative. One might have forgotten, but she is still said to be the reincarnation of the advisor, the one who made the Demon King to what he is. Yes, I can stall at least for 5 minutes, and possibly make them retreat if I had access to my phoenix robe. All right, Sasha, hold them for about 3 minutes, I'll send you back up soon. And don't try to harness the power from the phoenix robe if possible till she arrives. But as soon as she does, surprise attack them together. Okay, but hurry up, okay, as she said that, she began to dodge the attacks that her enemies are firing at her. At the castle, Rimuru looked at Misha with a serious gaze and asked, "Are you sure you want to fight them, Misha? If you think we will blame you for your lack of fighting ability, then don't worry, you are worth more than you think to us." Misha shook her head, denying Rimuru's worries, and said, "No, I just want to fight with my sister." Rimuru looked at her for a while and said, "All right, then I'll teleport you near their battle. As soon as you spot them, launch a surprise attack to give Sasha some time to heal herself. Then with Sasha, take those guys down." Misha nodded her head with a determined look on her face. Then Rimuru, with a snap of her finger, teleported her away near the fight is held. Looking at the screen, she mumbled, "This is going to get more troublesome."